So basically, it tries to connect faith with science. So it tries to find a balance between science, and faith. So God needs to maintain a scientific. So it doesn't challenge religion.
Okay. Skepticism, that is every every everything is made by the fire, water, and
Right.
something.
Mm-hmm. So it's basically everything still allows for a central position of God, even though we cannot scientifically prove that there is a God. God is the start and the end of everything, and they try to rationalize that with science. So it's kind of puts a break on the actual scientific
That's
approach.
origin. That thinking is the origin of the atom. Is it?
The origin of the atom. I don't know what.
Atom. Genshi.
Right. The origin of atom. Oh, I don't know. Can you explain that?
Skepticism is the origin of the idea of the atom.
Oh, really? I don't.
Everything is made by the several things.
Right. No. What I mean with scholasticism is that basically it is a scientific approach that puts a central role for that doesn't question the role of God in everything. So you cannot, like for example, I believe that there were scientists. Like for example, who was that?
Ask Google.
All right.
Scholar is the origin of school.
哲学神学を作らなくていい。これ簡単にサムライズよ。サムライズ。not simple.
Western Europe.
Mythology. Mythology.
Mythology.
Mythology.
So it could never be questioned.
That is not depend on the God.
Right.
Okay.
Mythology. Okay. Let's go. Okay, go ahead.
All right. So we see that we see that actually the people get more affluent in the high Middle Ages. Then in the late Middle Ages, there is actually a decline. Difficulties including calamities, including famine, plague, and war. The plague plays
When that time? When later?
So the latter half. So, for example, the plague, which was the latter Middle Ages, that's around 1350. That's the plague, and later
just before
title.
Enlightenment age. So human being get stronger to avoid this disease.
Right. Right. So actually, it killed 1/3 of the world population and half of the people in Europe was killed in a period of only 3 years
Half
time.
you said, so
No, that's the 1/3 of the entire world population.
entire.
Entire world population. So then the question was actually at the time also like, okay, why did this happen? So who did they blame for what did they blame? What did they attribute this Black Death for?
You told rat.
Rats, but people then thought maybe astrology, the stars, could be the reason for that, or it could also be. It was also attributed to earthquakes. Another theory was that it was a punishment by God. Basically, God sent Black Death to people to punish them for their sins. Another theory was that actually the Jews were responsible for it. Jews were responsible for it. They were suspected of actually poisoning the wells in the cities. And why was that? Actually, the reason was that much fewer Jews died of the Black Death than other people. The reason for that was that actually Jewish people lived more or less in seclusion inside these societies. And they had different attitudes toward hygiene than the Europeans at the time. So they were much more hygienic. Therefore, they were less susceptible to actually contract the Black Death. And so it was actually considered. So the people in, for example, I believe it was a German town. They killed about 3,000 Jewish people because they suspected them to pollute the wells that caused Black Death. But it was actually a different attitude towards hygiene that made them not die of Black Death. So that's also how we can trace back the role of anti-Semitism in Europe. That dates back all the way to the period of the Middle Ages. So this Black Death, the result of the Black Death, led to a labor shortage. Like all of a sudden, like 50% of the European population was wiped out. With this same amount of land, this led to labor shortage, and it also led to protectionism because people were very much at risk. So they needed to defend their food supplies. That prevented people from trading. So people were all sitting on their own food supplies. That prevented them from trading, which led to wars. It was us versus them, and this actually led to malnutrition.
What the labor shortage? What does this mean? Labor shortage.
Labor shortage. Basically, there were not enough people because so many people died. There were no people to work on the lands anymore.
Okay.
And as a result, this led to protectionism, which led to warfare, malnutrition, poverty, diseases and hunger, inflation. It was a spiral, which happened in Europe. And actually, what we saw is that farmlands, because there were no people who could work on them, they changed back to forests. So it was a reforestation. So the Middle Ages was really a period of decline and retreat compared to the times when the Romans ruled Europe.
Mm.
On the other hand, the people who did survive, we already saw that in the video. The people who did survive, they had more resistance against the plague, and because there was a labor shortage, there was wage increases. These manors, the people who worked for a fee on the lands, they were demanding higher wages. The landlords tried to counter it. And there were actually some parts in Europe where they actually, if people refused to work, they could put them in jail. But most landlords were depending on the laborers, on the manors, and this led to wage increases. And actually, the workers demanded more rights, and that actually stopped feudalism in Western society.
Why it stopped feudalism?
It stopped feudalism because it was impossible to. Feudalism could only exist because there was a very asymmetrical power balance between the landowners and the workers. But because the workers became scarce, they got more powerful, and they no longer accepted the situation where the landowners could decide everything. So that's basically the result.
Devastating.
Yeah, this for them it was the end of their
devastating land.
Devastating.
Oh, land. Nobody plowed.
Right. So nobody worked on the lands, and some lands got they were no longer in use, and they returned to become forests.
はい、皆さんこんにちは、雲野です。今日はですね、雲野塾の研修のプログラムをご紹介したいと思います。で、こういうふうなホームページありますけれども、ぜひですね、一度中身をご覧になっていただきたいと思います。今日はブーキューブさんのスタジオに来て、この収録をしておりますので、中身はこういうふうになってて、今最近ホットなね、グローバルリーダーの定義など書いてあります。で、特に経団連が作成しました、留学すれば英語ができて専門性を持つというだけではですね、グローバルリーダーになれないとここに書いてありますようにですね、仕事ができる、専門性を持つ、英語ができるだけじゃなくてですね、私どもの塾ではリベラルアーツということと、それからもう一つは孫子の平和、さらにはですね、日本の歴史というものを合わせて教えることによって皆さんが海外の欧米の方々と、もしくは華僑圏の方々と正々堂々と渡り合えるような人物を育成しようというふうなことを考えております。ここに次のスライドが出ておりますけれども、ここに書いてありますのはですね、さらに、私どもの雲野塾の中身につきましてはですね、欧米の資料しか使っておりません。また実際に雲野塾は英語でやっておりますので、英語の講師がこう話しておりますけど、学習はですね、日本の歴史をまだ教えてますので、学習の午後はですね、日本のプログラムをしております。で、以前はこれ有料だったので、今はですね、実際に会場費も取っていただいておりませんで、毎回5000円ということで、朝9時から午後5時までやっておりますので、ぜひ皆さんですね、ご検討の上ご参加いただければと。英語のできない方もですね、学習の午後こういうふうな研修をしておりますので、ぜひご参加いただければというふうに思っておりますので、よろしくお願いします。で、ここにさらにですね、グループ討議とか実務の勘どころを教えると書いてありますけど、実際には私が10年ほどですね、欧米の新聞とか雑誌等をですね、集めてきた、もともと英語のベースでございますので、そうしたものをですね、50セッションのテーマに分けて資料作成しております。そういうことで、世界のオペレーション、もしくはカントリーリスクも含めてですね、しかも世界のトップの方々に対してもいろいろな分析とか洞察をしてですね、議論をしております。そういったことも含めてですね、今後ともよろしくお願いしたいと思います。以上で私の挨拶を終えますが、今回のこのビデオの収録にあたってはですね、V キューブさんのスタジオをお借りしてですね、お時間を頂戴して、このビデオを作成させていただきました。よろしくお願いします。どうもありがとうございました。